Everybody hear me?
Yes.
Carrie Ann, will you?
Marge, can you hear Soraya?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Carrie,
Okay.
awake? Wonderful. Everybody on track.
Great stuff. Well, I must tell you that this chapter just spoke to me and I had to think of beer. I think she chose it especially for me. This is chapter 4. It's the trade-off. And it speaks about which problem do I want. It's about strategy. And strategy is about making choices and trade-offs. It's about deliberately choosing to be different. This was said by Michael Porter. It's a quote by him. It started off in a chapter, but just imagine you could go back to 1972 and invest $1 in each company in the S&P 500. Which company would provide the largest return on your investment by 2002? Would it be IBM, Intel, etc.? According to Money Magazine, the answer is none. The correct answer is Southwest Airlines. And that brings me to Herb Keller, who led Southwest Airlines with his essentialist approach to business. Next slide. Herb's business strategy was to, instead of flying all over to every destination, he deliberately decided to fly from point to point. He decided not to have fancy meals and glitzy service. Instead of that, he would not be serving any meals on the flights at all. He was so clear as to what he wanted and what he did not want, and his trade-offs reflected as such. It is an example of his essentialism thinking at work when he said, you have to look at every opportunity and say, we are not going to do 1,000 different things that really won't contribute much to the end result. We are trying to achieve. He was criticized by critics, naysayers and non-essentialists who could not believe he was so successful with his approach. My personal summary of the above is personally now joining Herbalife, and when you join up, you're doing all different approaches to launch your business, and one tends to go around in circles. Eventually, I then asked myself the question, why am I doing this and what do I want? And then by listing my whys and what I wanted, I now have a clear idea of what I need to do to have the perfect lifestyle I want. And I think that goes back to Herb's business strategy. He was clear as to what he wanted and what he did not want. And like that, he could achieve his goals. Anybody else have examples of this? Next slide.
There is no more slide.
Excuse me?
There is no other slide.
No.
Really?
No. Yeah. You're
I'm clear about what I want and what I don't want.
Okay. Some of his competitors started to imitate him, but instead they straddled his strategy. Now, straddling meant keeping your existing strategy like we have in Herbalife. You have your way you're going to present your 6-day breakfast, etc., etc. And at the same time, trying to adopt the strategy of a competitor. So now they saw he was successful, so they wanted to bring in his ideas plus their existing strategy, which absolutely didn't work. The competing company adopted some of the practices, but kept hanging on to their existing business model, and they, Continental, failed horribly because due to pressures, they had to make decisions by default and not design. So they were forced to make decisions and not because they wanted to. Most of us have been guilty of just trying to fit in one more thing. I'm guilty of that. We know we have 10 minutes to get to a meeting, which starts in 10 minutes. Yet we still want to answer a couple of emails before leaving, or we promise to swing by a friend's birthday party, even though you already have tickets for the show that start at the same time. So the logic is, I can do it both. And they inevitably end up late for the meeting, and they don't make it for the friend's party or miss the show. Trade-offs are real in both our personal and professional lives. So this is where trade-off comes in. My personal summary is, and I had to giggle, yes, this applies to me. Fitting that last minute thing in or the activity in because I can do both. I ended up being late for everything. So on Saturday, I did a trade-off. When we did our HOM in Maitland, I did a trade-off. I said, either you're hiking or you're going to be early at the HOM. I know it says home here. Sorry about that. Well, I was early. So that's the trade-off. That's an example of a trade-off. Yes, Pia, I've learned. Next slide.
I love the book.
Ellen Cullen, former CFO of Lehman Brothers, she did not set a goal to work a full day on Sundays. It started off with just the thought of doing 30 minutes answering emails, and you know how it goes, and then updating a diary, and eventually grew to a full day. Her story demonstrates a critical truth. We can either make the hard choices for ourselves or allow others to decide for us. My personal summary of this is, when you set a goal for anything, you will stick to it. My goal, which I set, was on Mondays is my admin morning, and I do our purchasing in the afternoon. Like that, my clients know there are no Monday assessments and no deliveries or collecting of products, and I have my me time. My salary is on silent, and I'm not diverted from what I am currently then busy with. So that frees me up to do what I need to do without any interruption. So there's no dictation there. Anybody else want to comment? You're all so quiet.
Anybody got for himself some summary out of that chapter, or is anybody not on this chapter right now?
I'll wait for Soraya to finish, and then I'll add in my comments.
Okay, I'm looking forward to that one. Next slide. A company has a mission statement. It says we value passion, innovation, execution, and leadership. The problem with this list is it doesn't tell the employees what the company values most. It says nothing about what choices an employee should be making when these values are at odds. Unlike Johnson & Johnson, who had a credo, a statement written in 1943, this is just for the record, by then Chairman Robert Wood Johnson. The credo lists the constituents of the company in priority order. Customers are first, shareholders are last. As a result, when they were faced with this tragic cyanide murder scandal in 1982, I didn't even know that. When 7 people died after taking Tylenol, it was later found that the bottles were tampered with. Johnson & Johnson could make the decision immediately by referring to the credo. Customers are first, shareholders are last, and swiftly recalled all Tylenol, even though it would have a massive impact on their bottom line. Not an easy decision, but the credo enabled a clearer sense of what was more essential. It enabled a tough trade-off to be made. My personal summary was, I created my personal credo that the client is always first. Client information, this was for me now, I don't know if I'm doing it correctly or not, but this is what came out for me. The client information sheet is important. That is when they digress, and all you do is show them their goal sheet. You stay with the trial pack as introduction, and you keep abreast with all the what if situations by always reading your WhatsApp team chat. Because by doing that, you will find the answers for your next situation. In other words, be proactive. Next slide. Yeah. Anything else? Next slide, Bea.
No slides anymore.
Hi. Essentialist sees trade-offs as an inherent, is the essential part of life, not as an inherently negative part of life. Instead of asking, what do I have to give up? They ask, what do I want to go big on? The cumulative impact of a small change in thinking can be profound. The non-essentialist, essentialist will say, will think I can do both. The essentialist will say, what is the trade-off I want to make? The non-essentialist asks, how can I do it all? And the essentialist will ask, what can I go big on? Do you all understand that part of it, or need I elaborate?
Got it.
Okay, next slide.
Marge, yeah. This or this?
Oh. Okay, this is a tongue-in-cheek thing. I wasn't sure whether I should put it in. Do you think I should go ahead with this, Bea? Imagine a 4-burner stove. 1 burner represents family, 1 is your friends, the 3rd is your health, and the 4th is your work. In order to be successful, you have to cut off 1 of your burdens. And in order to be really successful, you have to cut off 2. When faced with this decision, where each one is important to us, we need to ask, which problem do I want? Well, honestly, I don't want any of them. Bottom line is that trade-offs are not something to be ignored or decried. They are something to be embraced and made deliberately, strategically, and thoughtfully. The non-essentialist gets excited by virtually everything and thus react to everything. But they so busy pursuing everything, they explore less. That's when you hear verbal life and you want to do everything and you just miss out a couple of your strengths along the way. The essentialist will commit and go big on only the vital few ideas of activities. They explore more options at first to ensure they pick the right one later. To determine what is truly essential, we need space to think, time to look and listen, permission to play, very important, wisdom to sleep, more important, and the discipline to apply highly selective criteria to the choices we make. In non-essentialist culture, these things can be seen as trivial distractions rather than trivial distractions. They are critical to distinguish what is actually a trivial diversion from what is truly essential. Understand that one? As economist Thomas Sowell wrote, there are no solutions, there are only trade-offs, and that's quite big. I learned that now. Next slide, Pia. Personal summary of that one was I explored 2 sporting activities which I love. I love both of them, running and hiking. I now concentrate on hiking only, running in between, but concentrating on hiking, and have improved my performance instead of exploring all and being average. As a Herbalife coach, I go big on building relationships with clients. What's important to them, to be connected to my clients, and to listen. Next slide, Bea.
Now it's really the last slide.
Oh, okay. So that's my story, and that's how I understood that's how I thought it applied to me. It was very valuable, and I thoroughly enjoyed and learned so much from it. And the main thing is there's plenty trade-offs to do. That's what I've learned. You have to do a trade-off.
Yeah.
You know,
Thank
you very much.
what is beautiful, thank you so much, Soraya, is not just that you very quickly say the last time I do it, it's actually, when I compare to the very first time you were challenged with the presentation and look at you now, how confident you present the presentation and how
Because I loved it.
how you not just read the book to us, really put your thoughts to it and made some personal summary out of it. And this is where basically when you teach something you don't understand completely, this is what Jim Rohn always said, you understand it the most. So very, very powerful, your presentation tonight. Thank you so much. Absolutely brilliant.
Thank you, Bia.
And it was for me even, it's nice because we all read hopefully already that chapter once or twice or maybe more often. But still listening it now from your side now, how you presented it, I took another note and realized, hey, am I really clear about that? Am I really clear about that? So it's always good basically to reread important books or even have such a presentation like you did right now. So this is why I value this focus group very, very much, which each Monday we have this session actually. But over to all of you, I think each one of you has a little bit to say.
Thank you.
So who wants to go first?
I'll go first, seeing as everyone is so quiet tonight. Soraya, great job. You really did an awesome summary of the chapter. There's one or two things that you mentioned relating to your personal experience that I didn't even think or get out of the book for myself. So there was lots of.
Thank you.
I think from my side, what really got me in this chapter was realizing that much as you said you were, Soraya, I was also the kind of person that would try and do 10 million things at the same time and try and commit to everything because I want to do everything and take part in everything, but to my own detriment at the end of the day. Also because I am a bit of a people pleaser and want to make everyone happy, I end up being unhappy. Because I committed to things that I don't really want to do in the end.
Yeah.
So the other thing that I got out of this chapter was realizing that it's when you're not clear about your goals, when you're not clear about what it is that you want to achieve, that's when you start grappling and trying to do everything just so that you are doing something and looking busy, but it's not getting you anywhere closer towards success, which is, for me personally, the point I want to get to is to be successful in the Herbalife business. And for me, success is getting to the president's team level at least. So if I was doing a lot of things where I was just doing it to fill my time so that I could justify being at home and being busy, but it wasn't stuff that was helping me grow my business and get closer to my goals, then I was failing miserably anyway. And when I read that chapter, that's what I really got out of it. I realized, by trying to do everything, it's because I don't even know what I want out of my business. And that's why I took that time towards the end of last year to really sit down and assess for myself what it is that I want to achieve in my business and how I'm going to achieve it. That was the other important thing. Not doing 6 or 7 different methods trying to get customers, being clear about what it is that I want to do and just focusing on that, becoming a master of those things. Pulling it apart, looking at the different aspects. If Bia had asked me, if I had offered to do, I wouldn't have even offered to do the 6-day breakfast challenge training 3 months ago because I wasn't good at it. I was doing it, but I wasn't clear about how to run a proper challenge. The training I did tonight was, it just came to me. I didn't struggle to put that together because I was very clear about how I run my challenges and the results that I get from it. So I think for me, that was probably one of the most important things, is understanding that once you're clear about your goals and what it is that you want to achieve, the trade-offs become so much easier.
Yeah.
Then it's easy to decide to sit on a Monday evening and spend an hour and a half doing training and being part of a focus group instead of sitting in front of the television watching stuff that's not going to help you get to president's team level. So it's all those little trade-offs that then become really easy to do when you are clear about what it is that you want to achieve. That's it. Thank you.
Right, Liesl.
Well said. Thank you.
Well done.
Other comments on it?
think it's all been said.
Don't make it too
Come on.
easy. Everybody has a personal story.
Yeah, it's getting clear. Once you are clear on what you want, and then it's making those sometimes hard decisions, and going with the things that you want to do, and not just doing everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So it really comes down to your goals.
Definitely.
If you know what your goals are.
Yeah.
I think what's also come out in the last 3-4 chapters is where he keeps going back and saying the same thing, that if we don't make the hard choices for ourselves, then we're allowing other people in our lives to make those choices for us. And so that's where we fall into the trap of saying yes to everything. So we need to start deciding for ourselves and choosing what works for us.
Yeah, that's true.
So got everybody some value out of the call tonight and out of the chapter of the Essentialists.
Yeah, I totally enjoy doing it.
So can we all give Soraya a thumbs up?
Soraya.
Thank you.
Very good job.
So now I have some homework for you, because I have to go into my call since 9 o'clock from the US. And I would like to know from you a theme a subject for next week for our call for our members and supervisors. Send it in the focus group, please, what you suggest, what is a good thing maybe for your business, what you need or what you want, or where you think it's good to have training on. It means not that you have to do it. And then obviously I would like to hear who want to do the next chapter next Monday. So just send it into the focus group, and I'm very curious what I can hear in the next 5 minutes or see in the next 5 minutes on the call.
Okay. Thank you so much, everybody.
Thank you very much, Lisa and Soraya. You were both awesome this night. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.